There may not be any football games to watch just yet, but for Rider fans, there is something to hold them over. The Rouge Report is a new podcast put out by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the hosts of the show are also the ones behind center, quarterbacks Cody and Isaac Harker. Isaac joins me now from his home in Indiana. Hi, Isaac.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thanks for asking. I hear that you were the driving force behind getting this podcast up and running. What made you want to do it?
It was just something that I've always kind of had in the back of my head, starting something, and really the origin of the idea was to start it like a quarterback club podcast. But then talking through Cody and then our media team, we kind of ended up moving the idea and settling on like something that is for the CFL fans.
You and Cody seem to genuinely like each other. I get the sense you could talk for hours. How do you decide what you're going to talk about?
Um, we sometimes have some broad topics to start, but really like we start with one topic and then the conversation just kind of flows naturally from point to point. So we don't really have it scripted out except for maybe like one thing I want to say is this, and then we'll just use that to kind of steer the rest of the episode.
How has your extended off season been going? I've seen some videos. Your siblings are helping you stay accurate with different challenges.
Yeah, we that accuracy challenge was fun to make, but the biggest thing is visualization for me. I'm a big visualization guy, so my sister, I wrote up some scripts for her to read off like you would hear it in your helmet, and then that's helped me a lot because I'm just picturing, okay, if the defense does this, I'm gonna move my feet here and go here, and she's helped me along a lot this offseason, so I'm thankful for that.
You talk a lot about eating and staying a very specific weight. How is your training going?
Really good. I was really underweight last season and finished around 185. So my main goal for this off season was to boost my weight and keep a good body composition while doing it. So I saw a nutritionist at the beginning of the off season. I've made my way up to 203 pounds with pretty good body comp. So it's a lot of food, a lot of good food that you have to eat and kind of have to force it down sometimes. But then it's a lot of hard training too in the weight room and then running as well to keep your conditioning up.
How's this podcast improving your relationship with Cody?
Oh, it's just another way to stay in touch. Just because we had already been talking to each other like through text and video calls and stuff, but then like to have a common goal again and working together for something, it's just another way to hang out, I guess.
And because of that, Cody ended up throwing a football at his wife's head.
Yeah, that was kind of the evolution of me throwing it at my brother's head, and then he went out there with the initial intent of throwing it at her head, but he said he was so nervous that he ended up switching it to her hand. So that's kind of the competitor in him you can see coming out, that he just always wants to compete with you.
So have you heard at all when you're going to get to come back to Saskatchewan or head north?
No word yet. We had heard in the past the commissioner talking about potentially starting games up September 1st, so I think we would go out for training camp about a month ahead of that just because of the mandatory quarantine and things like that. So I'm trying to stay ready to head up in the middle of August because that's the best case scenario. But other than that, you're just kind of adjusted to what you hear from the professionals.
What are you missing about Saskatchewan right now?
Oh, the football, the fans, the food, just everything. Like it's such a community oriented place, and you can really feel the passion that goes into football in the office, from the front office on down to the players and from the fans who come to every game. So it's just like I miss competing too. That's one thing I've really been missing. So
You had your first CFL start in a very important game, and I feel like this, based on the way you talk about Saskatchewan, it's really grown on you. When you came into the CFL, did you expect that?
I didn't right away. I wasn't expecting to fall in love with the city that I moved to. Like first, I was just like you're going up there because it's your job. But then like as soon as you're there, just the reception you get from the fans, like the facilities are amazing and they let you train as hard as you want. And like having it being your job, you can focus on it and there's no other things like school or anything getting in the way. So I was really able to just pour my heart and soul into it. And you can really feel the fans giving their heart and soul back to you. And that's just like, it's really touching. I just got goosebumps just talking about it.
So, back to the podcast. What's coming up in the next episodes?
We've got one of our defensive all-stars coming up in another episode. And then, as always, me and Cody will have that banter back and forth at the beginning and ends. But we've got some pretty lofty expectations for the podcast and the guests that we could maybe swing here in the next few episodes. So hopefully we can follow through with those for the fans.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And on behalf of the fans who are truly missing football, thanks for the entertainment, Isaac.
Thank you guys. It's all for the fans, so I'm happy they're enjoying it.